All right, everybody, welcome into a very special edition of the Rufus Sports Podcast. I am joined by a fellow NFL diehard fan, 49er brother of love, my man, Teron Davenport, joining me today on the Rufus Sports Podcast for some football talk. We're going to bring it to you for about a half hour, throw some predictions at you, get into a little preseason, some hot topics. And like I say, I got my man Teron on the phone, on the line. It's me and him, one-on-one, bringing it to you. Teron, thanks for joining me, my man. How you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling good. The football season is about to be here, so it's Christmas time for me.
You know what? That's right. It is Christmas time. Let's get that thing ready to go. Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate out there. It is time to unwrap the presents, and football is definitely the present that we love, and we got it going right now. So, like we say, we're definitely getting into some hot topics. MJD is certainly one of those hot topics, and I want to get your opinion on that. I definitely have my own, but I'm curious what you have to say. But, of course, we'll get into the predictions and all that good stuff. So, without any further ado, you ready to roll, my man?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Like I say, I'm real curious about one thing before we start getting into the teams that are going to make the playoffs, some that are going to fall out. You know, usually we see, like, at least 5 teams that made the playoffs from the year before drop out the following season. So we're going to talk about that. But as far as Maurice Jones-Drew is concerned, he's holding out. He's got good reason. He's one of the better running backs in the league. He led the league in rushing last year. But he's asking for big bucks. He's asking for Adrian Peterson type money, Matt Forte type money. Whether he deserves it or not, that amount is another story. What's your take on this situation? Do you think that Jacksonville should pay him? Do you think he deserves his cash? What's your opinion on this?
Well, my opinion actually sways back and forth. There was one point where I felt that no doubt they should just go ahead and pay him. But he does have 2 years remaining on the deal, and they pretty much dug in and they have their opinion of what they want to do. I think a real easy fix would be similar to what the Giants did with Uzi. Throw some money in there to sweeten the deal, shift some money forward, guarantee something, and just have an understanding that when he hits the market that they will go ahead and try to make him a fair offer.
Yeah, something fair. I'm cool with that. You know, I'm down with paying the guy. We know that he's going to be 29 soon, and once you hit 30 years old, you're kind of over the hill by NFL standards. But I guess my whole point of the thing is that with running backs that are as great as he is, when you look at guys over the past 5-6 years, Adrian Peterson, Steven Jackson, running backs like that, as great as they are and as great as Chris Johnson was when he ran for over 2,000 yards, the Titans didn't make the Super Bowl. They didn't win the Super Bowl. So my point is as great as these running backs are, it's become more of a passing league now, obviously, where the wide receivers are valued more. And I think that the proof is kind of in the pudding. You don't have to pay a big-time running back in order to get to the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not saying that MJD can't be a significant key piece to a run, but where Jacksonville is at right now, it doesn't make sense for them to give him the big dollars when they're so far away from a Super Bowl,
Yeah, I mean, that definitely makes sense. At this point, he's just a piece of the puzzle, albeit a large one, but they're not going to be a contender anytime soon. That's a fact. You look at this team, all the holes in the roster, they definitely have a ways to go. So you're right in that they may not want to throw all their money at MJD at this point because really it's not going to make that much of a difference as far as the wins and losses are concerned.
Right, there you go, and that's the point. So I say, you know what, why bother doing that? Get another running back in next year's draft or whatever and throw money, to a defensive end, a great safety or whatever. And, in the league now, like we said, it's a passing league. You're going to have some good cornerbacks and some good safeties out there to help out your team. And you know what, that's kind of a way I want to go also when we talk about these teams, but also young quarterbacks in the league right now. Just amazing. When you look at this year, you're going to have 5 starters now that Russell Wilson is named the starting quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks. In combination, of course, you got Luck and RG3. If you go back last year, you got Christian Ponder, Blaine Gabbert, now Jake Locker is starting. So all in all, 9 starters out of the 32 teams in the NFL are either in their second year or rookies. That's amazing. It's unprecedented. We've never seen it before. If you go back 15, 20 years, you would see quarterbacks sitting on the bench for maybe an entire season before they even got their shot and sit behind a veteran. I have my ideas as to why this is going on. What do you think about that?
It's pretty simple. It's a win now. It's a what have you done for me lately, not for long, whatever catchphrase you want to use. These coaches are put under pressure immediately to win. You look at Raheem Morris, they have to win right away. So whoever puts them in the best position to win, they're not worried about developing them over the long term. They want to get them in there, and if they feel that that's their best chance to win, that guy's
And that makes sense. And you know what? You don't want to keep big money on the bench for too long, especially if your starter isn't doing well or, underperforming. They pay these guys big bucks, and it's a good thing that they don't pay them Sam Bradford, Jamarcus Russell type money anymore. The value's gone down, thank God, because that was ridiculous, giving these guys $50, $60 million before they ever stepped on the field. Now, they still get paid pretty well, guys like Cam Newton and Andy Dalton and all the players that came in this year. But, the other reason is besides, wanting to get that money out on the field and, cash in on the playing field, also when you look at college, Tehran, 15 years ago, everybody was running the option offense. Now, you can't even find that anywhere. I think Georgia Tech and Navy may be the only two teams that run it now. So now that colleges are playing that pro-style offense, these young QBs are more quarterback ready, more NFL ready to jump in and take the reins. And I think that's also part of the success that they're having.
That's a huge part. That's a great point. A lot of the spread offense, and then you got the teams that run the West Coast offense. These quarterbacks are coming. Look at Ryan Tannehill. He knows that offense better than the veteran quarterbacks there, better than Garrett or Matt Moore.
That's right.
Excellent point.
Yes, if you look at a guy like Tannehill, you're right, you're dead on with that. He knows it, and he won that job in basically a week and a half if people are watching Hard Knocks. I mean, I thought Matt Moore was pretty good, to be honest with you. I mean, not a Super Bowl quarterback, but I was surprised how fast Tannehill beat him out, and that's in large part due to the reason, him and Mike Sherman working together for all those years. So that's a great point out of you. And speaking of the Dolphins, how about we jump into that real quick? You know what, let's go to the divisions. Let's kind of break them down quick and see who's going to be good, who's not, who's 500, who has a chance at the playoffs. Dolphins, AFC East, first team that comes to mind again because we're talking Hard Knocks. They just traded away Vontae Davis. They had their problems with Chad Ocho, Stinko Johnson, whatever you want to call him now. So it's been a disaster. And even if you go back a few months ago, they were talking about them being the ones who were going to get Peyton Manning and get Reggie Wayne and a brand new regime down there in Miami. And it seems like it all fell apart. Now, as opposed to a 7-win team, maybe they're a 4 or a 5-win team. I don't see good things for the Dolphins this year, Tehran. What about you?
Looking at their schedule, I got them winning 3 games. They're going to beat the Jets once. They're going to beat the Bills once and beat the Rams. Other than that, they can forget about it.
Me and you on the same page with that one, man. It's like all their good players are gone. They probably best wide receiver they had, they let go with, his off-the-field issues, and they traded away Vontae Davis, who may have been their best defensive player, and now Jake Long just went down today in practice,
right.
So... Man, you're right. That they got problems. Maybe 3 wins if they're lucky. Man, time to go to the bookies in Vegas and let them know that we want the under on their under win. No doubt.
For sure.
No doubt. How about the Bills, man? The Bills looking pretty good. They made some moves. What do you think about them?
Chan Gailey is bringing this team along slowly but surely. And you look at their weapons on offense. You got Stevie Johnson, both the running backs, Fred Jackson, C.J. Spiller. They're coming along, and Fitzpatrick is coming along as well. I got them winning 9 games. They're going to be the second best team in that East AFC East, but I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I got them 9-7 though.
You see, I agree and I disagree. I believe they will be the second best team in that division, but they will make the playoffs. I got them winning 10 games this year. I think they have arrived. You said they're coming along. You know what? I think they've came along. I think they're here. I think Fitzpatrick has learned from his, mistakes in the second half of the season last year. Again, I don't think that he's a spectacular elite quarterback, but they have a lot of weapons. Stevie Johnson, Fred Jackson, C.J. Spiller, you named it. Now a little help on the defensive line with Mario Williams, and you got Marcel Darius, Mark Anderson. They drafted Gilmore, I believe, the cornerback. I like what they've done. I really, really like it. And like you say, Chan Gailey's a good coach, a player coach. They respect him and they like playing for him. I really believe that finally, there's always a team, Tehran, that comes out of nowhere or that we don't expect to take the next step or whatever. Bills 6-10 last year. I believe they reversed that record and hit the playoffs. I really do. So we will see. But we both got them on the rise, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure. Well, a team that we thought may have been on the rise, and Tebow rises up to divine intervention sometimes with the Jets over there. I don't know, man. It has been horrible for them so far. They are the only team who hasn't scored a touchdown in the preseason, and they haven't even really come close. I mean, their offense does not move. Sanchez finally looked a little decent last night against Carolina, and that's, in part due because he had some of his wide receivers back in the lineup. Santonio Holmes, for as loud as his mouth is, he happens to be a really good player when he wants to play and when his teammates respect him. But I thought a couple of months ago when the Jets made the move for Tebow, I actually thought it was a good move from a football point of view. Obviously, from a New York media point of view, over here where I live, it's a freaking disaster. But I did originally have high expectations for them. I thought they could have been a playoff team. Right now, I don't, Tehran. What do you think about these guys?
That team looks horrible. This is one of the few teams where I could look at their offense, and I really have to scratch my head and really, really think about a bright spot. There is no bright spot on this team offensively. Receiver-wise, no. Offensive line, we won't even get into that.
Yeah,
Sean
really.
Green is not a feature back. And Sanchez, I mean, I'm just going to leave that one alone. that team is offensively, and it's showing here in the preseason, 0 touchdowns in the whole preseason. That's pathetic.
It is, man. It's worse than we all could have possibly have thought right now. It is very, very bad. I don't know how long Sanchez is going to last as a starter over there, and when Tebow comes in, I don't know how much better he's going to be. I really don't. So, tough goings over there in New York. What about the Patriots, man? Look, you said the Bills are going to be second best team. I assume you mean the Patriots will be first best.
Oh, for sure. The Patriots, they're gonna be one of the best teams in the AFC and the whole NFL. As long as you got Tom Brady, Gronk, and Gonzalez, you're okay offensively. But then you look at it, or Aaron Hernandez, I said Gonzalez. But you look at it, I think the major pickup there was bringing in Brandon Lloyd.
Yep.
I don't play fantasy football, but anybody that asks me about a sleeper on the receiver side of things, that's my guy right there. Everybody says Eric Decker, Brandon Lloyd. You look at the production, 1,500 yards in that Josh McDaniels offense when he was with the Broncos. He was productive down the stretch with McDaniels in St. Louis. That team is dynamic. And you look at them defensively, Belichick, one of the best defensive minds in the game. They picked up Chandler Jones. He's a candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year, if you ask me. And then Gerard Mayo, he is what he is. Patrick Chung is rising. That team is set up. Brandon Spike. That team is very complete. Very complete. I like the Patriots this year as a threat to come out of the AFC, but they're going to run into a team we'll talk about later that's going to stop them.
Oh, all right. A little tease by Tehran. I like that. Tehran's tease. We'll have to make that a segment during the show throughout the year. Hey, man, I agree. The Patriots are going to be an absolute juggernaut. And when you put that in combination with all the talent they have and them having one of the weakest schedules in the NFL this season, I mean, take that for what you want as far as schedules are concerned. But the Patriots are going to be awesome. They're going to run through that division easy. 13 wins. You named all the wide receivers and tight ends they have. They locked up Gronkowski and Hernandez for a while. They look great, man, no doubt about it. They added Dante Hightower, I believe, as one of their linebackers, too. So,
yes,
yeah, they're in good shape, man. They are. And you know what? People talk about their defense last year, how they weren't that good. Listen, when you're up by 40 points at halftime, you're going to play prevent defense for a while and give you DRS. So that's the reason why some teams are scoring points off of them. I'm big on the Pats. I think they're going to be great. So I'm with you. They're winning that division. We agree. AFC North. Always a tough division. I want to start with the Bengals because I find that really interesting. They didn't beat a team with a winning record all season last year, Tehran. The best team they beat were the Titans at 8-8. I'm not saying the Bengals are a bad team at all. I just think they're really an average, middle-of-the-road team. I know that they look good. I know they got a good defense. But I don't see these guys going back to the playoffs this year. And a lot of people have them winning the division.
No, a division with the Ravens and Steelers, no, sir.
Thank you.
No, sir. They're going to go 9-7. I mean, they're going to have their losses within the division, but you look, they have a game at Kansas City. Always tough to go to Kansas City and win. They're at the Eagles. Tough to go into the Lincoln win. Their schedule is somewhat difficult. They got the Broncos. I got them losing to the Broncos. They got the Giants. They're going to go 9-7, man. I love A.J. Green. Big time A.J. Green fan. I like him a lot. They brought in Sanu and Marvin Jones, who was one of my favorite draft receivers this past year. They're going to go 9-7. They're still a team that's just going to progress. They're not going to go to the playoffs, but they'll still be competitive. And you can't. It's hard to go to the playoffs and be successful come out of that AFC North. That's the best division in football, if you ask me.
Yeah, it probably is, and I mean, excluding the Browns, obviously, who we'll get to in a second. The Browns are miserable, but yeah, the Bengals. Listen, I think they're a good team, and I think Dalton to AJ Green is going to be a really sweet combo for a while. But you said it, you got Baltimore and Pittsburgh in that division, and I think those two teams are going to be right back where they were, 11, 12 wins this year. So I don't see the Bengals going. I see 8-8, 9-7 at best. I agree with you on that. The Browns, look, there's really not much to say, so we know that they're not going to win many games this year, obviously. But what about Trent Richardson? Just a quick question on him. You think he's going to be productive this year? You think it was a good draft pick to move up? What are your thoughts?
That's my offensive rookie of the year. He, to me, is the single most NFL-ready player that came out of this draft.
I like that.
They're just going to, and you look at the situation he's in, they're just going to feed him and feed him and feed him. He's going to get the ball. They're going to have a formula, believe it or not, similar to how the 49ers worked it last year, because a lot of people underestimate that defense, but if you look, that's a top 10 defense.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, they're strong defensively.
That's true.
I got them at 5-12, but Richardson is definitely going to be a presence on that team for sure.
Yeah, I think Richardson's awesome. I think that he'll be a very good running back, maybe even a great one for a long time. But like you said, they're going to be feeding him the ball, and defenses are going to know that. So they're going to be stacking 8 in the box. So if Brandon Whedon's going to have his chance, he will see some single coverage on the outside. He's going to have to prove something this year. But I agree with you. The Browns are not winning any more than 5 games this year. I got them really pegged at 3-13. I may have even had them 2-14, to be honest. I don't like them. Yeah, I'm not big on the Browns. But 2 teams I'm huge on are the Steelers and the Ravens. I got both of them going to the playoffs this year. I got them both at 11-5. Steelers winning the division by percentage points or however it works out, whatever you want to call it. But on the Ravens real quick, obviously they got Ray Rice in there. Terrell Suggs is talking about possibly coming back midway through the season. But the key guy right now is Joe Flacco. He's playing this year for a contract, and I actually believe he's going to earn and deserve it. I don't know if they're going to the Super Bowl, but I know they're going to the playoffs and they're going to make a deep run. I think Flacco has really arrived, and he may put himself in that top 10 class this year. It's possible.
I would like to see it happen. You always want to root for the local guys. He's a Jersey guy, so you definitely want to see him do well. The pieces are there for him. Torrey Smith, man, you talk about a deep threat. My goodness. How many deep touchdowns did he catch last year?
Yep.
Man, you still got Old Faithful and Quan Bolden on the other side, so they're definitely set up. Ray Rice, obviously, but this is a team that definitely always is a presence. As long as Ray Lewis is on that team, they have a chance, man, because you talk about a motivator. Sometimes I watch his videos just to start my day. I'm serious, man.
That's no joke.
Ray Lewis that's a master motivator. So as long as he's a part of that team, they have a chance. I got them 10-6. They will be in the playoffs. The Steelers, I think, are going to win that division, though.
Me too. I agree. And Ray Lewis is my favorite player in the NFL by far. Nothing comes close. And it's so funny that you say that. I watch his stuff on YouTube all the time, like his videos, pumping up his team and everything. Nobody is like that guy. He is absolutely unbelievable and could be a great head coach one day down the road if he decides to do that. Love Ray Rice, but I'll tell you what, another defensive player on that team I got winning the defensive MVP this year. It's not Ed Reed. It's the other guy in the middle, Haloti Ngata. He is maybe the best defensive player in football. That guy is unbelievable, and I think that he's going to finally earn that defensive MVP this year. He's going to deserve it. As far as the Steelers are concerned, I know they got some injury problems, namely in the running back position, and also on the offensive line. Their first-round pick, David DeCastro, went out probably for the season, but they seem to just fix it. They seem to always fix it and put it together. Even the season a couple of years ago when they went in hurt and they went against the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl, they ended up losing. But they looked all banged up in the beginning of that year. They just seemed to figure it out. And Mike Tomlin is one of my favorite coaches in the league. I respect that guy so much. Absolutely love listening to him speak. I think that he's fantastic. And look, you got Troy Polamalu. James Harrison should be healthy. You still have a very good linebacking core. And Ben Roethlisberger still is one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. He's been to 3 Super Bowls, for God's sake. Won 2 of them. Antonio Brown is a beast. Mike Wallace is a beast. I love the Steelers, man. I don't care about the injuries. I think they're going right back to the playoffs, no doubt.
Yeah, I got them at 12-4. I'm going deep in the playoffs. You mentioned Antonio Brown. Great player. Got his deal, and I like him a lot. Emmanuel Sanders, Jericho Cotchery, 2 other guys that definitely deserve credit. Now, defensively, a guy who doesn't get enough credit is Ryan Clark.
Nice.
He's a really good safety, and he's a guy that could work in the box, but he's better over top, just playing free safety, playing center fielder, and that's what allows them to do what they do with Palomalu, because they have a guy, Ryan Clark, that will be in position over top.
You see, that's a good point. A lot of people forget about Ryan Clark, obviously, because he plays side by side with Palomalu, so that's a great point. He is definitely one of the better safeties in the league. He just happens to play next to one of the all-time greats, so no doubt. All right, so me and you are definitely agreeing so far. Look, the AFC South, we mentioned MJD, obviously, with the Jaguars. We know Jacksonville's not going anywhere. Houston seems to be the best team in that division. Again, they have plenty of talent. It's just a matter of, can they stay healthy? Can they be on the field all year? And if they can, I think they run away with that division.
Once again, we agree.
There you go.
I mentioned the team that's going to stop the Patriots in the playoffs, and this is the team.
Okay.
You look at them in your three phases of the game. Trenton Holiday from LSU instantly makes that special teams unit much better. They're going to win a lot of field positioning battles. They're going to end up getting the ball starting on offense in their opponent's side of the field. Defensively, number 2 ranked defense last year. And the offense, I mean, they have my offensive MVP, Arian Foster, and they have, even though he's always hurt, a top 5 wide receiver in Andre Johnson.
Yep.
You look, Matt Schaub at quarterback, that team is ready to go.
No doubt. They are ready to go, and as long as they stay healthy, they will definitely win that division. They could probably win 11 or 12 games easily this year, and you know what? They could stop the Patriots. They were one of the teams last year that we thought if they were healthy and they didn't have T.J. Yates in the quarterback, who was their third stringer, they could have gone pretty deep into the playoffs, no doubt. Arian Foster, a beast, and you know what? Even if he does go down for a while, Ben Tate is something serious, man. He is an excellent running back. He's got that system down. So I like the Texans, man. I'm with you. The team that I thought may have taken them over possibly were the Titans. I started getting really into them. They have a bunch of good players. I like their head coach. He's got a rough, tough, in the grind mentality sort of thing, but I'm not ready to put them there yet. I got to see what Jake Locker does for a full season. But I do like the Titans, and look, I also like the Colts. I think the Colts are going to end up winning possibly 6 or 7 games. You know, they brought in Vontae Davis. They still got Reggie Wayne, and Andrew Luck, I think, is a pretty poised quarterback. I'm not ready to go ahead and say he's going to be one of the all-time greats like people are jumping on. You know, I got to see this kid play for a while, but I think the Colts will be all right. Jacksonville, they may win 7 or 8 games, but the Titans were the team that I thought could possibly contend in that division, but still, overall, I think Houston's got it.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Houston has it. Real quick on the Jaguars, they're Blaine Gabbert, their quarterback, 2-14. The Colts, listen, I like their personnel offensively. I really do. You look at, they got the tight end from Clemson, was it Dwayne Thompson, I think Dwayne Thompson. And then on the other side, you got Fleener. A sleeper for you, LeVon Brazil, number 15. He's a guy I watched in the MAC conference, and he's a playmaker. He's going to emerge eventually. T.Y. Hilton. They're set up pretty well. I still got them going 4-12, but they're a team that in the near future is going to be on the rise. The Titans, Kendall Wright, that is my single favorite player coming into this season.
Nice.
As far as rookie-wise. That's a guy I've been proclaiming him as one of the better prospects, and he played really well. You look at the game against the Cardinals. He caught the backdoor pass touchdown on Patrick Peterson. He impressed coverage. He's a really good player. I like Kendall Wright a lot. But 10-6, I got the Titans going. They're the team that I think is going to be in the playoffs. I had to really look at the Titans, Ravens, or Bills as who was going to be in the playoffs, and I took the Titans and the Ravens.
Wow, great minds really do think alike, man, because obviously, like I said, I got the Ravens winning one of the wild card spots. I got the Bills in the other one who you're high on, and I'm also high on the Titans who you have in there. So, listen, we're in pretty much agreement down the board, just with a little variation in record. I think that the Titans will go 9-7 and Bills will go 10-6, and that's where you have the difference right there, that one-game record. So, That'll be interesting. We'll see. Obviously, AFC West, a lot of the talk coming out of there, excuse me, was Peyton Manning. We hoped he was going to be a 49er, and we would have been talking Super Bowl for sure this year. But Peyton Manning with Denver, speaking of the 49ers, played pretty good against them in the preseason a couple of days ago. Yes, a couple of days ago. I believe it was Saturday they played. Anyway, Denver looks all right. Eric Decker, Demaryius Thomas, I think, is a pretty good wide receiver. The Chargers, I think, are headed again for a down year. I got them at 7 wins, the Chargers. I don't like the makeup of that team at all. I think they're kind of weak on defense, to be honest with you. And look, Ryan Matthews, I wasn't high on him to begin with, but now that he's hurt for a little bit, no Mike Tolbert over there, I don't like the Chargers. I'm not in love with the Raiders, although they could surprise some people this year. I'm thinking more like 8-8 again. But the team I love in that division, Tehran, is the Kansas City Chiefs. I just love the Chiefs. They have so much talent on offense and on defense. I'm not going to run through every name, but they got a two-headed monster with Charles and Peyton Hillis. I think Dwayne Bowe is one of the more underrated wide receivers in the league. He's a big body, and he's fast, great hands. And again, defensively, you talk about guys like Eric Berry and Brandon Flowers, Tamba Ali. These are key pieces in your secondary and on your defensive line. I think the Chiefs are going to put it all together. And people forget when Matt Castle, before he got hurt last year, and by the way, the whole team was hurt last year, but the year before that, they went to the playoffs, all right? And Castle, I believe his numbers were somewhere around like 25 touchdowns, 7 picks, something like that. So he was very efficient, and he was efficient with the Patriots. They went 11-5 when Brady went down that year. So I think that he's also underrated. I think the Chiefs are going to win that division and make a nice little run in the playoffs. What's your take on the AFC West?
Very interesting. I agree. I got the Chiefs 9-7 winning the division. Broncos, I'm back and forth between 8-8 or 9-7. I'm not sure how that one's going to fall out. Tony Moeaki coming back is going to help that Chiefs team as well.
Yep.
Dale Johnson is a candidate for first team All-Pro.
Yes, sir.
Linebacker. Broncos, their defense is going to continue to play well. This whole Peyton Manning thing, listen, 9-7, 8-8, one of the two. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. The Chargers and Raiders. Phillip Rivers is a guy I really like. I thought that Robert Meacham was going to be a nice addition. Doesn't seem to be working out. Hopefully Gates is healthy. But I think this is the year they really, really fall back. I got them going 5-12.
Wow. 5-11. 5-11?
Yeah, 5-11, excuse me. 5-11. Yeah, because just looking at this here, looking at their schedule, yeah, I can see 5 wins for them.
Wow.
5 wins. Same thing with the Raiders.
Very interesting. All right. I mean, I agree with you. I think the Chargers are going to be, almost bad. 5 wins is possible. I got them at 7 wins, and I even may be generous in that respect. I just don't see it with them. I love Phillip Rivers also, but are they going to throw every single freaking down? They don't have the weapons that, Drew Brees does and Tom Brady does. It's not going to work out like that. You lost Vincent Jackson. Like you say, you got to pray Antonio Gates stays healthy. If he does, I mean, he's still one of the best tight ends in the league. I mean, people forget about that, but guy can't stay on the field. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. Chiefs are winning that division. I think they're going to win 11 games this year. I really do. I think they're going to hit their stride after week 4 or 5 and just go on a ridiculous run. So, I like the Chiefs. Let's wrap up the AFC. My division winners, Patriots, Steelers, Texans, and Chiefs. And my 2 wildcard teams are the Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. And, Tehran, you got?
I'm with the Patriots, Steelers, Texans, and Chiefs. Wild card, Ravens, and Titans.
You see how great minds think alike, folks? Isn't that unbelievable? Just one differential over there, and this was unrehearsed. There was no script. We just came on and started talking to you, man. I had no idea what he was going to say. Let's see what happens with the NFC now. I have a feeling we're going to differ over here. I went out of the box a little bit on a few teams, but let's start in that NFC North. It's a real hot division. You got Lions and Tigers and Bears. Oh my, it's crazy over there. The Lions, obviously, in the playoffs last year, and the Packers in. The Bears would have been, all right, if Jay Cutler didn't try to make a tackle against the Chargers in week, 8 or whatever it was last year. They looked really good. Now they got Brandon Marshall back with Jay Cutler. They're an excellent combination as far as I'm concerned. Their defense may be aging a little bit, but I think they're good enough. I think Charles Tillman is one of the more underrated defensive backs in the league. I like the Bears a lot. I like the Packers a lot. I think the Packers will win that division ultimately. I think the Bears are going to make the playoffs as a wild card team. I think the Lions take a step back about 8-8, 9-7. I'm really not sure if Stafford's going to stay healthy all year, and I don't like that defense when you get past the defensive line. And then the Minnesota Vikings, I don't think they're going to be as bad as last year. I think that they may possibly win 6 or 7 games, but obviously they're not going to be contenders. So I see the Lions dropping out and the Bears replacing them, but the Packers winning that division with a 12-4 record. Tehran, what do you got?
I'm going to agree with you on the Packers. That team is very well put together, and the defense is bended, but don't break. The Packers are going to win that division. I got them 12-4. The Bears, I'm going to agree with you on there. The Bears, I have them 11-5, and I definitely feel they're going to make the playoffs. And you'll see later, that's a team I think is going to run deep into the playoffs.
All right.
This NFC North is the best division in the NFC. I have the Lions at 10-6 and a wild card, the Vikings, the Minnesota Vikings.
Uh-oh.
Adrian Peterson and just Adrian Peterson.
So help you God.
That's the offense. Yeah, I got them 4-12.
All right, I hear that. I respect that too. I mean, look, they haven't showed us anything. It's an absolute joke. You know, the Vikings were terrible last year. I don't think they made the right decision in getting Matt Khalil. I said that before he started letting guys run past him. I wasn't big on Matt Khalil. I thought they should have gone Justin Blackmon. You have to add some power to that offense. And while Percy Harvin is a very dynamic football player, he's not your prototypical wide receiver. So I don't love him at the wide receiver spot, but I do love him on my team. But again, you know, Jared Allen, who cares if you get 22 sacks? It doesn't matter. You don't win ball games. Adrian Peterson, even if you are healthy and Toby Gerhardt is running, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't make a difference, especially in that division. So, yeah, I'm with you. The Vikings, 6 wins I got them at. I think they'll be a little bit better, but certainly not contenders. So, you still have the Lions making the playoffs, so you got both wildcard teams coming out of the NFC North.
Yes, definitely. The Lions, I'm going to tell you, Louis Delmont's a very hard-hitting safety. He was hurt often last year. He's going to be healthy this year, hopefully. And they picked up a guy really liking his draft out of Louisiana Lafayette and Bill Bentley. Very, very nice cover corner. And then additionally, you look at on the offensive side of things, Brandon Pettigrew. He's going to be a red zone target. That's another fantasy sleeper for you fantasy football players. He's a guy I'm high on. He's a guy you can get probably later in your fantasy, but you know, all the attention is going to go on Calvin Johnson. I saw firsthand when the 49ers played the Lions. I had end zone seats, and every time they were in the red zone, Deshaun Golston and Chris Collifer were on Calvin Johnson, and they were able to get one-on-one matchups. So I like that team offensively, of course, and defensively, they're going to be all right.
Yeah, offensively, no doubt. And I like your Brandon Pettigrew call, and I'm a big fantasy football guy, so I can tell you that he is going later than what he deserves. You're right on that. You can get him a bit late, and he can be, when it's all said and done, he could be a top 5 tight end as far as the numbers are concerned this year. So I certainly agree with you on that point. I'm just worried about that defense, and I'm worried about the health, and I think at some point they're going to have to run the football, and they can't keep any of their running backs healthy. Javid Best, Mikel LaShaw is supposed to be a beast, but we may never know about that, and Kevin Smith too. So that's what worries me about the Detroit Lions. I'm just not sure. They got off to a really hot start last year. They started out 5-0, I believe it was. Then things cooled off a little bit. So we'll see. NFC South, I like 2 teams in that division and 2 teams only. Your division winner, the Atlanta Falcons, at 11-5. I think they're the most balanced team in that division. And I think that Cam Newton is ready to take these Panthers to the wild card, man. They're ready to be a playoff team. I think that he's phenomenal. I, as a matter of fact, have Cam Newton as my MVP of the National Football League this year. Yes, sir. I think that he's going to take them, ride his whole team on his back, and go right to the playoffs and just be an absolute numbers stud this year again. I think Cam Newton, this is not a fluke. I think the picks are going to go down. I think the touchdowns are going to go up. And again, this guy can run all over the place. And I know that they have hurt running backs left and right. Even Jonathan Stewart went out last night against the Jets. But I just love Cam Newton. And now with John Beeson coming back, manning the middle of that defense, I think the Panthers are ready, man.
I'm going to tell you the biggest addition for the Panthers defensively is my defensive rookie of the year. He's looking great in the preseason, Luke Kuechly.
Yep.
That guy, he's a tackle machine. tackle machine. He's going to have a season similar to Patrick Willis in his rookie season, whereas he had high tackle numbers. It's not going to put up a whole bunch of stats as far as sacks or interceptions, but he's a guy that's always going to be around the ball. So I like the Panthers. I agree with you on the Falcons. I got them 11-5 and winning the division. But I think the Saints still do what they got to do and go 10-6 and get in the playoffs. I don't have them doing anything in the playoffs, but I have them getting there. Now the Bucks, that's a team. I got them at 6-10. You know, the foundation is being set. I think Shiano, a very authoritative type of coach, is going to have a presence, and it's not going to be the loose ship that it was under Raheem Morris, and they're building a foundation, but they're just not ready yet. 6-10 for them.
Yeah, I don't think the Bucks are ready yet, but I do agree. I think they are building a foundation. I think Freeman to Vincent Jackson is going to be a very nice combo this year. I got them at 8-8. I think they'll be a little bit better, but certainly not a playoff team. And as far as the Saints are concerned, I think there's just going to be, there's too much coaching changes going on over there. They lost their defensive captain. I don't know. As great as Drew Brees is and all the weapons they have over there, I think they're very similar to the Lions, where they're going to let up a lot of points, they'll score a lot of points, but that instability in the coaching staff, even Joe Vitt being out and now he's coming back, week 6 or week 7 or whatever it is, I just think there's too much instability, and I think that's going to hurt the Saints at some point. I think they'll end up with a winning record at 9-7, so I don't think they're going to be terrible, but I think they're going to take a step back for those reasons. But again, Drew Brees is still an amazing player, and he will have that team somewhere in contention. As far as contention is concerned, when you talk about the NFC East, the Giants won the Super Bowl last year, very unexpected, with a 9-7 record. A little ridiculous to me how they snuck in and did that, but hey, you know what? More power to them. They beat my Niners in the NFC Championship. I almost killed myself, but I'm alive and talking today, so I'm back. I'll tell you what, I don't have the Giants making the playoffs this year, and this is not out of despite and animosity from last year. I don't think that they're as good as the Eagles, and I don't think they're as good as the Cowboys. And when it comes down to a really tough NFC conference overall, I think the Giants are again a 9-7 team. But I think this year 10 wins gets you in, Tehran.
You said it. 100% in agreement. 9-7, out of the playoffs.
Out.
Eagles are winning that division 12-4. Redskins and Cowboys are afterthoughts. I have them both at 7-9. Can't really say any more. I like RJ3 in this offense with Mike Shanahan. I wish him the best. I hope they don't run him too much. But 7-9 for them.
Tehran, I think the Eagles are a playoff team. I don't have them winning the division. I think that they're going to win 10 games. And possibly sneak into and possibly get into the playoffs with 10 wins, obviously. I think you're going to need that. Giants, no. RG3 I like a lot, but they're not ready. The Cowboys, to me, I think that they're going to put it all together finally this year. I really do. I love Tony Romo. He gets a lot of flack, and true, he has not proven himself in the playoffs. There's no doubt about that. But I don't put all of it on him. Now, I know that they have issues with Miles Austin and his hamstring, and Des Bryant with his problems all over the place. He's slapping his mama around. That's no good, or at least allegedly. And, DeMarco Murray, Felix Jones, you got to hope they stay healthy. But they addressed their biggest need last year, besides offensive line, of course, and that was the secondary. They got Brandon Carr, and they drafted, was it Barron or Claiborne? I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind for a minute. Thank you, Claiborne. So I think that they addressed their biggest need on secondary. They still got DeMarcus Ware. I think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win that division at 11-5. I just think that it finally comes together for them. I'm not talking about divine intervention or anything like that, but listen, they have all the talent in the world. I really believe this is the year that they finally put it together and win that division. So I am big on the Cowboys this year. I really am.
Well, the thing with the Cowboys is health. I really don't feel that you can count on Miles Austin or Des Bryant to be healthy.
Yeah.
You just can't, and you're going to miss those guys. Because outside of those two, wide receiver-wise, they are well below mediocre.
Right, I agree with that. You're right. I mean, you're seeing Tony Romo throw to guys on Friday night or Saturday, whatever it was. You don't know what their names are. So I understand they're going to have to be on the field, and I guess I'm just relying on Austin and Des Bryant and Jason Witten to all be healthy, and hoping for Dallas Cowboys fans that Felix Jones and DeMarco Murray especially can stay healthy. So if they do, they have the talent to go. Obviously, if they can't stay on the field, that's a whole nother story. And we had to save the best division for last, of course. Our division, our boys, our San Francisco 49ers. I'll jump right in, man. They are winning that division this year. The only other team I see giving them any sort of issue is the Seattle Seahawks. I believe the Seahawks are definitely taking a step up this year. I don't think playoffs quite yet, but I like that team, and I think Earl Thomas, man, is an absolute ridiculous, phenomenal, freaking stud of a safety. I think that kid could be defensive MVP this year, very possibly will be in the running. I love what Seattle's doing. The Rams are still a far ways away. Arizona can't figure out their quarterback situation, so I do like Seattle, but again, the 49ers have more talent than anybody in that division, and as down as I am on Alex Smith, and as much as I don't really like the Randy Moss signing and don't get it as much, they still have the talent, and Smith knows how to control and manage the offense and let the defense do the work. And that defense will be, again, a top 3 defense in my opinion, and that'll be the main reason why they win the division, team.
Defense that's what does it for the 49ers. It's been that way. The defense has been a strong unit for the past 5 years. But they just finally got an offense that can score some points. 49ers best talent in the NFC West. It's clear. It's easy to see. I've got them 12-4. The Cardinals, not only is the quarterback situation a mess, their offensive line is a mess. Ryan Williams is a guy that I would like to see get a chance. Larry Fitzgerald, every time I watch the Cardinals, I get sick to my stomach because we're seeing a talent like that just rotting, just wasting away.
Yep.
It's amazing he puts up the stats he does with the quarterback play that he gets.
You're right. Think about Matt Schaub. Andre Johnson is Matt Schaub. Calvin Johnson has Matthew Stafford. Wes Welker has Tom Brady. Larry Fitzgerald has nobody, man. You're exactly right. Could you imagine if he had a good quarterback, the numbers he would put up? Unbelievable.
It would be ridiculous.
I'm with you.
The Rams, I really like Janoris Jenkins. That was a really nice pickup. I like the way they generated the extra pick to take the risk, so to speak. Offensively, it just, where's the playmakers?
Right.
I mean, Steven Jackson, outside of him, they have nobody to make plays. Brian Quick is a guy I'm not really fond of. He was a timid wide receiver at the Senior Bowl. Rams 4-12. We don't even need to waste too much time.
Right.
I'm going to tell you this. I like Russell Wilson as a quarterback, and his story is great, but you know what? This WrestleMania is already driving me crazy. I mean, we're anointing him as the best quarterback out of this rookie class, and the fact remains he still has to play against a team that actually game plans against him. Not these vanilla defenses that you see in the preseason. I'm not wishing them any ill or anything like that. I hope to see them successful because I want to see this division be a better division. They're not in 7.
Yep.
Defensively, they're solid. They're definitely solid. Who knows what's going to happen with Marshawn Lynch if he's going to be suspended. You mentioned Earl Thomas, really good. I like Cam Chancellor, their other safety. Their 2 corners are good. Richard Sherman. They're stacked. Bobby Wagner's another guy to watch out for.
Yep.
They're in good shape. But again, the fact remains the 49ers are the best team in that division.
I agree. Seattle is on the rise. There's no doubt. We'll see what happens with Russell Wilson. He looks like a midget back there. But so far, he's been getting the job done in the preseason. But like you said, it's only preseason. Let's see what happens when they really strap it on and everything counts. But yeah, to wrap up the NFC, we both got the 49ers winning that division, no doubt. My other division winners, and when you talk about the NFC East, I got the Cowboys. I know that surprises some of you guys. I got the Falcons in the South, and I have the Packers in the North. But also coming out of the North, I got the Bears replacing the Lions as a playoff team. And I struggled back and forth between Philadelphia and Carolina, but I had to put Carolina in there as my second wildcard team. And like I say, I'm really high on Cam Newton, and he's going to be the league MVP this year. So I got the Panthers also in the playoffs, man. And Terrell, what were your division winners and your 2 wildcards?
Well, it looks like this. I got the Eagles, 49ers, Packers, and Falcons winning the division. 2 wild cards are the Lions and and Bears.
Lions and Bears. All right. So definitely high in the NFC North again. And I hear, that it's possible the Lions could go back. I just think that they're going to take that little step back this year. But that remains to be seen. And did you have a Super Bowl pick, or are we going to save that for next time?
Hey, I give you the whole playoffs, man. I sat down and penned it all up.
Oh, I love it. All right. Well, we got 2 minutes left before I got my fantasy football draft. I got to get set up in about 10 minutes over here. So you know what? Let me hear that Super Bowl pick, bro. Let's have it.
Super Bowl pick is the Texans over the Bears in the Super Bowl.
All right, you hinted at that before. You said that the only team that's going to really give the Pats a run is the Texans, and I agree on that. I don't think they're the only team because my Super Bowl team is different, but I think the Texans are definitely going to be a force as long as they stay healthy. And the Bears, I love this year. I think they're an 11-win team, no doubt. Cutler to Marshall back. You got Forte and Bush also on offense, and that defense, again, while it's aging a little bit, they'll have that core group together, and they're very good, and that's a tough place to play in Chicago. The Packers didn't enjoy playing there a couple of years ago, and the only reason they got past that game is because Caleb Haney was a quarterback for the Bears. So, I like the Bears, man. I'm in there, but my Super Bowl teams differ. I hinted at it a little bit before also. Coming out of the NFC, I know this is crazy, guys, but I got the Cowboys, man. I really do. I'm not a Cowboy fan. God knows that. But I really think they're going to put it all together this year and defeat an old 70s style matchup, defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 2012 Super Bowl. I got Cowboys over Steelers officially. And my man Teron, tell him one more time.
Texans over the Bears.
Texans.
Coach of the year again at QB.
Well, all right. So not only did Wade Phillips save his job, but he's also going to get him Coach of the Year award too. Very nice. I like it.
Yeah. Offensive Player of the Year, Arian Foster.
You got it. You see, you're high on Houston, man. That's right. You got Arian Foster also as your Offensive Player of the Year. Hey, all right. You know what? You're high on the Texans, and I'm high on the Cowboys. But I got Cowboys Steelers. You got Texans over the. I'm sorry, I just lost my mind again. Texans over the Chicago Bears. I'm sorry, Texans over the Chicago Bears. Look, I got both those teams in the playoffs too, so I would not be surprised for a minute. Root for Sports podcast is going to be going on all year long. Teron Davenport will absolutely be joining me throughout the year. Hopefully we could be talking about the 49ers making another division run, another playoff run, and hopefully a Super Bowl run this year. Teron, I'd love to get our sixth ring, man. I hope it's possible. I hope we're both wrong about our Super Bowl picks and the Niners win it.
Yeah, man, I hope so, too. I definitely hope so. Hey, are you going to make it to that Jets game?
Oh, you know it. October 4th, man. I'm there.
Okay, yeah, we have to link up, man.
Oh, for sure. All right, man. I'll be grilling in the parking lot. We'll throw the pigskin around a little bit, and then we'll go beat up some Jet fans.
Yes, sir.
I love it. My man, Teron Davenport. You can catch him at DDavenport88 on Twitter, right?
Right, T Davenport. T Davenport 88 on Twitter.
I love it. Teron, thanks so much, my man. I appreciate it. I'm going to go bust down my friends in the Fantasy Football League right now. But we'll get you on again in the next week or two when the season starts, and we'll play it all out from there, man. We'll definitely get you back on this year.
Definitely. I appreciate it, man. I can't wait.
Teron, this was a lot of fun, man. Thanks a lot, bro. I'll be talking to you soon.
All right, man. Talk to you.
All right, later.
All right.
My man, Teron, that was beautiful stuff. Much appreciated out of him. Gave me a good solid 45 minutes today. Like I say, I'm off to go do my fantasy football draft, so I'm out of here for now. Root for Sports podcast on rootforsports.com. You can catch me at SportsProfit1 on Twitter. I'm out. Have a great day.